Hey, what's good everybody? It's your boy Nick Reese back on another video. Today, I'm going to be going over my updated WWE 2K22 wish list. I made this video about 3 to 6 months ago, and I'm not proud of that video. That video had horrible quality, and now it's been about 5 months later, so my views have changed a bit. I got some camera equipment. Hopefully you can clearly hear me. I have my new mic. So yeah, man, let's go over my updated WWE 2K22 wish list. I'm excited to go over it. Leave your wish list in the comment section below. Let's get into it. Now, number one on my list would be to stop worrying and just stop producing corny modes like 2K Showcase and 2K Originals. Now, I get it. I'm all for goofy stuff every once in a while. We need entertaining stuff. But with the way the game was in WWE 2K20, they need to have less focus on 2K Showcase and 2K Originals and put more focus through career mode, universe mode, GM mode, other modes like that. Now, if you have time, I'd say yes, you can have a 2K Showcase, and if they're going to do 2K Showcase this year, I'm almost willing to bet millions of dollars that is going to be The Undertaker as the showcase, and I'm even guessing that Undertaker is going to be the cover this year. That's just my prediction, early prediction, but honestly, I don't think we need the 2K Showcase anymore. I mean, we already have things like the WWE Network and 2K. I want to emphasize, if I truly wanted to go back and view old WWE clips, whenever I do get that urge every now and then, because even though I don't watch the product now, I still like to go back and watch every now and then old moments. But when I do that, I either go to the network or I go to YouTube for free. I don't need to relive old moments in video game form. I just want you guys to focus on career mode, universe mode, GM mode, and the creation suite modes. Focus on those things first. And if you have time, then you can add goofy stuff like the 2K Originals. Because really, when you guys added the 2K Originals this year, in my opinion, the only thing worth doing is the Fiend's Tower. Because I just want to unlock the Fiend and use the Fiend in Exhibition and Universe mode. That's the only thing I played for 2K Originals. Just get rid of that stuff. Focus on the important modes first. Now let's get into modes. Very important modes. For instance, let's start with my career mode. Now, when they brought this in WWE 2K15, it was good for the game WWE 2K15, but as a mode there were a lot of holes, and from 2K15 to now they have improved, and in 2K20 they kind of took steps back because it was a corny story. But honestly, I just feel the My Career story is all played out. We either start in NXT or we start in the Indies. You guys, 2K has done this story every single year for the wrestling games for the last 5 years. Let's switch it up a bit. I'm not saying get rid of the story entirely. I'm talking about give us 4 options, okay? I'm talking about bringing back season mode / Road to WrestleMania, but you don't have to call it that. You don't have to call it Road to WrestleMania. It can be a part of the My Career mode. Instead of just forcing us to create a player and use him in the WWE and play the same old NXT or indie storyline, let us use actual wrestlers in the WWE and let us play through stories similar to season mode back in SmackDown vs. Raw 2007, SmackDown vs. Raw 2008, and 2006 too, where you could choose pretty much any superstar you wanted. There was a couple superstars that weren't available, like in Shut Your Mouth, Stone Cold wasn't available. But honestly, man, just bring that back. And I'm talking about 4 options, okay? First option, you can create a superstar and go through NXT and the Indies. 2, the second option, you can create a diva or a woman and have the same thing. Option 3, you can let us use any WWE superstar on the roster and play through storylines that your developers, the game developers, storytellers should come up with, and have like, I don't know, 10 seasons worth of cutscenes and content for season mode. And then the 4th option, let us use a current WWE women. Or this might be a little bit of a reach, but even letting us use some legends like The Rock or something. I don't know, man. But yeah, man, so that's first on my list. career mode slash season mode slash Road to WrestleMania, but they shouldn't call it Road to WrestleMania. Just call it career mode slash season mode. So that's what I would do. Let us choose either a superstar to create, or let us choose an actual WWE superstar. Next up, let's go over match types, okay? Now, this is one of the things where legit everybody, I don't know one person who's a fan of wrestling games that doesn't want or hasn't asked for this in years, okay? 2K, the match types have not changed since WWE 2K16. Now, in WWE 2K15, that was the first 2K, that was the first wrestling game on the PS4 era, and you guys took out a lot of match types that year, but you added them back in 2K16. But since then, we haven't got any of the specialty match types that we know and love, and everyone knows the match types that I'm talking about. I'm talking about first blood matches. Now, and keep in mind, I know you can create some of these like first blood, but legit the specialty matches I miss, okay? First blood, I quit matches, special guest referee matches, 3 stages of hell matches, casket matches, buried alive matches. We all know these types of matches. Strap matches. Come up with special matches. The Firefly Funhouse, let that be an arena we play in. These different matches should have been in the game already, especially special guest referee, and add in even newer match types. For example, what about the Hell in a Cell I Quit match? Jey Uso and Roman Reigns just had that match inside the Hell in a Cell. That was a new match type. I've heard people say War Games, and I don't know how good the PS5 hardware is, but if y'all are creating the wrestling game with PS5 hardware, then War Games can be an option that you guys should make. Another one, I'm not sure how many people remember this, Slobber Knocker. This was a match back in SVR 06 or 07. Basically, you had to beat everyone on the whole roster, and by pinfall or submission. Very similar to The Undertaker Defeat the Streak back in 2K14, where you were The Undertaker and you had to beat everybody. A match like that. Bring all these match types back, please. It's about damn time you bring this back. Again, the PS5 hardware should allow you to have these matches in the game. Zero excuses for this. While on the subject of match types, how about we go over the backstage area and fighting in the crowd, okay? Now, I forget which WWE 2K it was. I think it was 2K17 or 18 where they introduced fighting in the crowd, and that made a return, and I'm happy that happened. But it's time to expand, okay? I'm just thinking off quick matches that have fought in the crowd. Let us go high up in the stands now. Like, let us walk up the stairs and stuff like that. Like, when The Miz and Shane McMahon faced off at WrestleMania a couple years ago, they fought up the staircase. The Shield versus Evolution at Payback, they were fighting all around the arena. Let us expand. Again, we have the next-gen hardware. Let us fight up the staircase. I want a similar atmosphere to SVR 2008. Now, a lot of people have different opinions about SVR 08. Some people think it was like a trash wrestling game, and some people think it's the greatest wrestling game, and some people are in the middle. I'm in the middle. I liked the backstage areas and the crowd fighting areas for 2008. Remember, you could go up on the scaffold thing and throw your opponent off and just put them through a table. Bring that stuff back, man. Let us climb up tall areas. Stuff like that, man. And as far as backstage goes, again with the hardware, I want to get back to old wrestling game fun vibes. Remember in Here Comes the Pain when you could literally go to Times Square, go up on a building, and throw your opponent off, and he would land on a limo, and you could ride a helicopter. Now, obviously, this sounds like GTA. It's a wrestling game. We shouldn't have GTA. Like, it shouldn't be GTA. It's a wrestling game. But let us have fun. Bring that arcadey atmosphere back. Another thing, the parking lot. SVR 07 and SVR 08, once again, the parking lot. I remember you used to be able to use finishers and KO your opponent by using certain things in the backstage area, like the parking lot. There was the Undertaker's hearse. You could finish off your opponent in that. Or sometimes I remember the Boogeyman would come out the hearse. There was a garbage truck. You could KO your opponent that way. Another way is you could climb up on top of the ambulance, throw your opponent off the ambulance, and that's how you KO'd your opponent. Putting your opponent's head through a window. Like, come on, 2K. This is stuff we need. So that's the next thing on my list. Better match types, backstage area, huge expansion on that. And let us fight up the staircase in the arena. Let us climb up the scaffold like in SVR 08. Yeah, man, this would be fun. Next up, let's get into the Creation Suite modes. Now, 2K has brought back, since 2K16 and beyond, after 2K15, like I said earlier, where they took everything out of the game pretty much, they've been adding Creation Suite modes back every year. But there's two modes in particular that they still don't have. First being Creative Finisher, the other being Creative Story. Now, let's go over Creative Finisher first. This is fairly simple. Everyone misses this. Just everyone having unique creative finishers and maybe even create a signature. Bring that too. Like, I don't really need to go in depth on creative finisher because everyone knows what it is. Everyone misses it. Bring back creative finisher, please. And create a story. Now, when talking about the greatest modes in wrestling game history, everyone says GM mode. People say Road to WrestleMania. People say season mode. Some may say create a pay-per-view mode from back in the first SmackDown vs. Raw. You know, and all these modes are great, and GM mode is probably at the top of everyone's list. But for me personally, as a person who loves to get creative, Story Designer has always been my favorite mode. It always will be, and it really needs to come back. Okay, I'll give a ton of reasons. Okay, first reason, it just creates more content within the game. The more content you have in a wrestling game, or any game for that matter, the more content you have in a game, the longer the lifespan of the game will last. That's why back in those days, like WWE 12 to WWE 2K14, especially when the mode was first introduced in SVR 2010, create a story. It benefits everybody. It benefits content creators, like Pulse and Tubby Emu. Now, I'm not saying that it made their channels. You know, Pulse and Tubby Emu both have grinded their channels for years, and they deserve where they're at because they grinded wrestling games for years. But they did at one point, because I've gone back and watched them, they used to play people's stories for content. I'm not saying that's bad at all. That's great. It benefits people who love to create stories, because I myself know that I've been fantasy booking wrestling games in my head for years. And ever since Story Designer left, I really haven't been able to do it. I mean, yes, you can use things like Universe Mode, which I'll get into in a minute, but it's just not the same. And it also benefits the casual gamer who doesn't really know how to make stories and isn't a great storyteller, but they like to play people's stories anyways. So it's a win-win situation for everybody involved if Create a Story returns. And here's the cool thing, 2K. Here's the cool thing. There's a mode, and this is if y'all didn't know, there's this mode called Create a Video already in the game, where it just has all the cutscenes in the entire game. Has cutscenes, entrances, promos, Universe Mode cutscenes. All of those are in there. There's some backstage cutscenes. All 2K has to do is create the Story Designer mode template and import these cutscenes from Create a Video. And the one thing I'd suggest is add more backstage cutscenes, because the backstage cutscenes in Create a Video right now, stale. There's only like 4 or 5. Add like 30 to 40 more. But all these cutscenes are already in the game. All you have to do is import it into Story Designer, and boom, you got a new mode that can go on community creations. Imagine the lifespan of this game. It would be so much better. Everybody would be playing each other's stories. So that's next on my list. Create a Story needs to return, and also Create a Finisher. And the last and final thing on my list, the combination of My GM and Universe Mode, combine it into one super mode, call it My GM Universe, and give people the option to either, if they want to use both portions and the whole mode itself, they can, but if they want to turn off the Universe Mode portion and just play GM Mode, or vice versa, they just want to play the Universe Mode portion, like maybe Gordon Perkins don't want to use the GM Mode features and just choose the Universe Mode, portion, you can do that too. So give us options. But for me, I know I'd use both portions at the same time if they combined it. But a new mode, the combination of Universe Mode and GM Mode, it's called My GM Universe. It's basically GM Mode, but has Universe Mode features. We all know what this mode is. Okay, we've been asking for it back to return since it left. It's been 10 years since it's been in the game. But yeah, man, give us that freedom, man. GMs, authority figures, dealing with superstars' contracts, dealing with superstars and their feelings. How are your superstars feeling? At the end of the year, after WrestleMania, you get evaluation from the board of directors and Vince McMahon. What you'd expect. Pay-per-views. How are your single-branded pay-per-views doing? What about the dual-brand pay-per-views? The Big 4, Big 5 pay-per-views? Which superstars are going to represent you in those pay-per-views, okay? Survivor Series comes around. There's the 5-on-5 Raw vs. SmackDown tag match. Or even if there's 3 shows, you can include NXT. Like how back in the day in 2008, you had Raw, SmackDown, and ECW in that GM mode. Except now you can choose between Raw, NXT, and SmackDown. And each dual branded Big 5 pay-per-view, every show gets at least 3 matches on that show. So on let's say SummerSlam rolls around, 3 matches for NXT, 3 matches for SmackDown, 3 matches for Raw, and maybe 1 match with dual branded, like a triple threat match. You'd have a Raw superstar, NXT superstar, and a SmackDown superstar. Who are your big stars that you want to represent in those match types, okay? Dealing with money, contracts. Who's the most popular superstars on your brand? Who are the least popular? Who are your main eventers? Who are your jobbers? Who is your mid-card? Do you have the women's division, or do you have the cruiserweight division? These are things that we should have control over, in my opinion. It's just my solid opinion. No doubt about that. This mode, 1000%, needs to return. There is no excuse this year. None. Nothing. No more excuses, 2K. This is the mode we need back. It's just simple as that. I mean it, man. I really do. What about things like Money in the Bank cash-ins? What about who are your part-timers? Who are your full-timers? Again, who is in the mid-card? Who are your biggest stars that you need to control? How do you keep your superstars happy so that on evaluation day at the end of the year after WrestleMania, Vince McMahon doesn't fire your ass? What about the draft? Definitely need a draft. What superstars do you want to draft? You have a $10 million cap limit or a $20 million cap limit. What superstars do you want on your show? What divisions do you want on your show? Which show gets the tag team division? Is there 2 tag team divisions? All these questions need to be answered. What about free agency? Do you have enough money to sign free agents? When WrestleMania comes around, do you want to sign a big movie star like The Rock to a 1-match WrestleMania deal? Think outside the box, 2K. All this stuff needs to come back. It's not that difficult. You can look up YouTubers like Viking Size Gamer. He's done the concepts. Search any wrestling content creator. At one point on their channels, they've asked for this mode back. It's that simple, man. It's not that difficult. But yeah, man, that's gonna do it for today's video. Again, let me know what your wish list is for WWE 2K22 next gen. What did you think about my wish list? What would you add? What of my wish list would you not have in the game next year? It's been your boy. I'm out for now. Stay safe, man. Peace.